Alright, so in this video we're going to be talking about depolarization, repolarization, local potential, and resting potential. There are a few values that we do want to be aware of before starting. There's the 70 millivolts, negative 55 millivolts, which is our threshold for active potential. And then there is 0 megavolts and 35 megavolts is kind of hitting our peak, and 0 being where we kind of become a neutral state and start seeing that turnaround point in repolarization. So during this process at resting, you tend to find K positive more concentrated on the inside, shown here, as well as your Na more concentrated on the outside, shown here. Now, on the inside in the intracellular fluid, there are other proteins that end up being negative, which contradict the polarity of the intracellular fluid. So this becomes more of a negative space compared to the outside here. So the K, which is our potassium leaves by facilitated diffusion, so through a pump here, and then sodium enters by facilitated diffusion through this pump as well. So this one kind of just sends these ions back and forth, roundabout, generally trying to keep potassium and sodium on their respective sides. Now, when a stimulus, which is anything that can change the resting potential, allowing sodium to enter, if it is strong enough, it'll cause an action potential. However, you'll see here a local potential. This is when a stimulus begins to cause sodium to enter the intracellular fluid, and it may have enough to cause the polarity to change enough where it hits negative 55, however it may not. And if it doesn't, this wave will just kind of bounce back and forth, and that's called our local potential, resting again at negative 70. When it does hit that negative 55 millivolts, and we hit that threshold, that's when depolarization happens. Now, in depolarization, you see the sodium and potassium gates open. So you're first going to see the sodium gate open, so our pink here, and our sodium is going to rush in and fill this space. When we add this positive value to a space that is generally negative, like mentioned before, our negative and our positive start canceling out. So negative and positive, negative 1 plus positive 1, gets us to that 0, for example here. And once those start rushing in and this becomes close to 0, that triggers our potassium gate to open, which will send potassium out. And then again, we're pushing kind of that negative value out. And now we're going to see that shift, or that repolarization. And it'll almost take a lull too, because we're having this influx of values. So you can see kind of a lull here for our values. But then eventually those are going to even back out, and our sodium potassium pumps are going to start doing its thing again and rotating those potassium and sodiums back to where they're supposed to be, and these will start going out again too. So hopefully that helps you guys a little bit, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend.